Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the latest episode of the Rich and Turbo Heavy Half Hour. You just get rich tonight. Find me on Exit, Fuzz, Doom, Rip, all the socials at rich.piva. Reviews from Eastpedia of Metal, and as a Doom Charts contributor, I'm very excited to have the Portland, Oregon band Ravine on with us. Justin, who is a friend of the show. This is his now second appearance. Super excited to have him back on. And Nico, who plays guitar with Ravine as well. How are you guys doing?
Doing great. Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. So obviously, repping because you really love your guys. Brought the vinyl too, so everyone should own this on Ripple Music. Fits nicely and weirdly between Rat and the late great Jay Retard in my collection, which is a very eclectic place for that record to actually sit. So I want to talk just about the band and what you guys are all about now. Metal Archives lets me down 50% of the time. So they have a quote that says, you guys describe the band as power groove sludge blues. Are they making this shit up, or is that a valid quote from you guys?
That's a valid quote, and that's a term I coined myself, and I don't know if the rest of the guys even like it, but I loved it when I coined it, and it was just like, hey, all right, or until they make me not use it anymore, or that's gonna be that's our genre, but yeah, definitely that was from us.
Nico, you cool with that? Are you okay with such a description?
Yes, yeah, totally. Yeah, when I saw it the first time, that's exactly.
Now, for those, so that is obviously a really great description, and some of the bands that get called out, a Down and Corrosion of Conformity, and I saw something that was actually pretty cool, and I was listening to the record today where they mentioned Cathedral, which is an interesting comparison because I never got that until I read it, and then I was listening, and I'm like, maybe there's a little something there. I want to start with you, Nico, because Justin and I have spoken a little bit about his influences, but what do you bring influence-wise to Ravine to kind of bring this sound to what it is?
So that's pretty funny. You mentioned Cathedral. It's a band I love and listen since I think Static Magic was the first about from them, like 95, 94, I forget, and never quit the boat. But it's never a reference I used talking about my music or the bands I was or what I would like to do. What pretty much is it's Dawn, Corrosion of Conformity, I Had Gods. That's the type of music we wanted to really get into, and we were already big fan. But Sam, when I saw read some reviews or stuff like that, and people mentioning Cathedral as like first surprise, and after I was like, oh, yeah, that makes sense because I've been listening to that band for the last 30 years now, and yeah, for sure, it's a big influence on me. And it's funny because it's not something to come right away in my mind. I would say Corridor of Conformity or Down, but
Yeah, I stole that from your Bandcamp page. Nathan Carson from Witch Mountain is the one who I think called it out. And right when I looked, I'm like, and then I think it was the riff on Prophecy, maybe that kind of got me to some of the slower cathedral stuff that's out there. But yeah, to get some of these quotes like from Jimmy Bauer about how you're extremely brutal for a guy who's in I Hate God and Down must be a pretty cool compliment if that's what you were going for, right?
kidding, yes.
Yeah, absolutely. That's was just like the icing on the cake. There was, getting a compliment from Jimmy. So
Very
Yeah,
cool.
definitely.
So you guys are a dual guitar attack then, right? In Ravine, how does that work with you guys in your partnership and what you guys are playing, how you're writing, and how you play live?
I mean, writing wise, yeah, I mean, it's just having the dual guitars, having two people bring riffs to the table. It's just been really refreshing, and that's part of the reason why Nico and I started this band. Was we obviously both had other our other bands. Was just to kind of bounce riffs off somebody else. And I think at the time when Nico and I, Nico's band Robots of the Ancient World I think he was the sole guitar player in that band. And then I'm still currently the sole guitar player in SkullDozer. So it was a matter of like, hey, let's join forces, see what we can do together. Have two guitar players in a band, and it's kind of went from there. So back to your original question was yeah, Nico brings just a ton of riffs to the table. And I think something I may have overlooked during the SkullDozer interview was like just even name dropping Nico. And I apologized to him later because it was just like, I'm talking about all the riffs and everything, and and because Ravine came up a little bit, and I never even mentioned Nico, but Nico is just the bringer of the riffs for I think he's the main riffs for Chaos and Catastrophes, or our album. Um, the majority of those main riffs came from him. And then I just kind of step in and maybe write a secondary riff, or do a lot of the structuring. Um, Maybe we need a breakdown or something. But yeah, he's just bringing these super heavy riffs to the table. So um, yeah, but it's been really refreshing to write riffs with another guitar player.
Yeah, and Nico, to kind of double down on that, you were in Robots of the Ancient World, so still that was is the band still a thing? Because I loved your records. I loved them on Small Stone, right? I think you released 2 on Small Stone. Big fan, different than Ravine for sure. But
Yeah.
are you guys, is that band still a thing, or is
Yeah, we are writing the album number 4. Yes. So we kind of step back to take the time to write it and take the time for ourselves too. The band is like 10 years old now, and we really push hard for the last 10 years. We really wanted to take the time to do this album, so we're working on it, and we already recorded 2 songs and moving forward. But it's still a thing, is yes.
excellent? And I assume you saved the heaviest riffs for Ravine, obviously, right? Considering the a little bit of the difference between those two bands, right?
Yeah, I have that psychedelic stoner stuff I love, and of course enjoy with Robert. But I had all these riffs who are sometimes very heavy, or who have a mood more mean, And so I was happy that with Justin team up and was able to bring to the table all these riff I had with me, and didn't do anything so for a while. But I will also mention the fact that I jam a lot, go in my room, record a lot of riff, and I bring that to the practice room, and Justin haven't he hears something. Sometimes I would just say, "Oh, it's just a little riff," and he's like, "Wait, do it again." And start with that, and boom, we start to build things, and yeah, break down. Let's get more heavier on this part, and he have a very good ear for that, and can point out stuff, and he's gonna bring a riff he had it somewhere in his bag, and yep, that's how things work pretty much.
That's awesome. No guitar egos in the room. It sounds like, at least when you guys
As
are
long as you
collaborating.
fine.
No egos.
No, there's no egos at all. Yeah. That's really the good thing of Ravine. We're all friends and really enjoy playing music together. I think we can also feel that in the record that we're happy to play together.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
go ahead, Justin.
I just want to say, yeah, that's been a great thing about Ravine. Not, it's my other bands as well, but Ravine specifically is, there's been zero drama. Okay, not zero drama, but for the most part, we just get along. We're just 5 guys that are friends, and we love playing music together. We love, every one of us are in other bands. We love each other's bands, and yeah, it's just been really refreshing just to like hang out with a group of guys that we like hanging out together. We'd spend time together outside of practice and playing shows. We just had Nico has an annual barbecue at his house, and we go over there and we hang out and drink beers and eat steaks and burgers, and you know, we'll go catch shows together. Oh, Yob's in town. Let's go. Whatever it might be. It's just great. Yeah.
You mentioned shows, and so I was checking out the your guys' Instagram, and first of all, has anybody contacted you thinking that you're the emo pop band from Nashville called Ravine? Has that ever happened to you before? Because I'm like, who the hell are those guys in that picture? That is definitely not Justin. Has that happened to you guys? Because that would be hilarious. But
I don't think so. Not
That
yet.
that I can say that has not happened. We did get a message from an Italian band named Ravine, and this was a fumble on behalf of Spotify, I believe, when our album was uploaded, or at least one of our singles. It was placed under their Spotify page. So they contacted us very graciously and said, "Hey, this is your song, not ours." So little logistical snafu there on behalf of Spotify. Yeah, but no other Ravine bands have contacted us.
I had to go look to make sure that no one else was attached to it, like Apple Music. But what I was going to mention is just like Portland in general, from a music standpoint, is just, I mean, the bands that are coming out like just dominate my list for the albums. Like, love the album from Shrew, love the Hog record. Jesus, that record is ridiculous. And you guys are playing. Tar Pit is not from Portland, right? They're from California, right? But you guys are.
No, they are a Portland-based band.
Okay, okay. So I think their label Transylvania, I think, is out of California.
That
Maybe
might be.
that's
Yeah, those guys are at least the guys that I know in the band are Portland based.
another killer Doom record.
Yeah.
But you guys are playing a release party October 24th with a certain Portland band. Tell us about that one, because I am super stoked for that record too.
Yeah. So, the main release is a band called Breath, and they're a Portland band, and they are putting out their second full length. They are putting that out on Argonauta Records. Really great people, great friends of ours, and we've played a big handful of shows with them, and they asked us to play their record release show. So that's the show that's coming up on October 24th. Tar Pit just happens to be the other support band on that bill. Yeah, we are just, and they just dropped that just doozy of a record as well, and the Breast record is just like killer. So we are just beyond stoked to be on that bill. And, it's just three heavy bands playing
So
great
heavy.
music.
Yeah, the place is going to explode. It's just amazing, and just so, the scene that you guys have. The only kind of comparison I can have right now in the U.S. at least is the state of North Carolina has a whole bunch of stuff going on, some really great bands. But just like every other week, I feel like something great is coming out of the Portland stoner doom scene. Um, are you guys doing more shows? Is that really what you have scheduled for now? I know, there's lots of other bands and life and jobs and stuff like that, but are you guys doing more shows as well as Ravine?
We have, in addition to that, we have one other show to close out 2025. That hasn't fully been announced yet, so we'll keep that under wraps until that's been fully rolled out. But that'll do it. That'll do it for us in 2025. Then we're kind of gearing up for next year. We'll probably take a little bit of break, and we got some new material we're working on. Gearing up for the next record, and then we got some stuff I think the earliest is in March of next year, and then we're in the talks, about doing a summer tour, maybe a West Coast thing or something. So yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
And then of course, yeah, we got the other bands. Robots have got they've got some killer stuff coming up, and SkullDozer's getting some things lined out as well. So yeah, it's just a big juggling act.
I love it, and probably I'm making this assumption, knowing kind of what Todd and his schedule is at Ripple. The Chaos and Catastrophes, you probably recorded that like what, like a year ago, 2 years ago, or it's probably material wise in your head probably older at this point, right? Where you've been starting to look at new stuff and writing new material, I assume.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that was before it was released. I think it was had been a year. It had been completed for a good year or so. Yeah, so we're always just putting material together, writing material, putting stuff in the bank, and yeah. What do you think, Nico?
But yeah, we are kind of I will say slow writer, but in a good way. We really take the time to. I mean, you say our songs are pretty long usually, so we need material to have a technical song. But we're slow writer. We take our time. We also enjoy testing the song on stage before we got to record it. So it's it's perfect to see how people react to a song. So yeah, we are getting there, and I'd be happy to be back in the studio for second length.
Love that.
Definitely.
Yeah, you're not writing 2-minute Ramon songs, right? You guys are, it's a little more complicated and lot of stuff going on compared to what you might hear in some of the shorter type stuff. Are you still working with Ripple? Still, is that you guys are still working with Todd and Ripple? How did
Yeah.
so you guys had an EP, and so we have a lot in my little group. We have this discussion on what's an EP versus what's a full length album, and you guys are screwing up my friend's complete definition of an EP, having something 29 minutes. So is Chaos considered your first record, and Ravine is your EP? Is that a fair statement to make?
That's a fair statement. Yeah, I mean, Chaos it's a full length in my mind. The Ravine self-titled, it was an EP. Even though it's 29 minutes. I guess. Yeah, to me, anything under 30 is like an EP, and anything over is a full length, with the exception of, like, in my mind, Rain and Blood by Slayer. It's 29 minutes. To me, that's a full length, not an EP.
Yeah, yeah. There's like, just like thinking of punk records, like some of the Dwarves records that are like 14 minutes long, but to me that's an album. It's the nerdiest discussion that you could possibly have. As you're making your year-end lists, what goes on the EP list and what goes on the full length list. But my question was going to be just about how I'm always intrigued of how bands wind up with labels, and sometimes it's just the simplest story, and sometimes there's a whole convoluted thing of it. But how did you get hooked up with Todd and get Ravine on Ripple?
Nico, you want to talk to that a little bit?
No, I will let you
Okay.
go ahead.
That's okay. Nico gets a little shy because of his what do you call it? Franglish.
My
Nico's
friend.
a Frenchman.
You talk better than I do, for crying out loud. And I've been here, I'm from New York, so.
I mean, yeah. As far as getting connected with Todd and Ripple, I mean, we recorded with Rob Wrong, and Rob, as a strong ties with Todd and Ripple, and we kind of just, like, we were, once we finished the record, we just kind of leaned on Rob a little bit to, hey, shop the record around a little bit for us, and just panned out that Todd picked it up. He was very interested in it, and you know. really liked what we were doing, so he was willing to put us on the label. Yeah, so that I mean, Rob was kind of the key factor in getting us in touch with Todd.
It's a good guy to have in your corner, right? Rob is just kind of an advocate for what you guys are doing in your music, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And he had done the same for another local band, Viral Tyrant, some friends of ours, and he got them in touch with Todd, and kind of a similar story, and yeah, yeah. So we're really happy with the results of that.
Yeah, you guys, Viral Tyrant, and you guys might have the heaviest albums on Ripple. Like I would have to go back and look, but it's probably pretty close. I think like Behold the Monolith, maybe they had a really heavy record too. But I think you guys might hold the title for heaviest record on Ripple. So that's a pretty cool thing. And the thing I love about Ripple is that it's kind of all over the place, similar to Small Stone,
Yeah.
right? Small Stone has lots of stuff. But Ripple and Todd's ear on from a taste standpoint, like he never misses, in my opinion, on anything he puts out. So
Yeah, definitely, and he definitely never misses. I mean, it's killer. Yeah, I would say we're definitely us, Viral Tyrant, or some of the outliers on that label. And I mean, it's great, but it can also kind of bite you a little bit. If people are looking for the fuzzy stoner desert rock, and it's like, what the fuck is this?
it's to me it's refreshing, and that's why I think Ripple is cool, because they're Todd's not afraid to just put out what he likes and put out what other people are recommending that he likes, and has no pretense of what it sounds like, or what I guess genre it would be. I think for a little while he probably was thinking he's too stoner fuzz, and probably wanted to do a little bit more stuff. But speaking of sound, you guys are starting to think about second full length. Direction wise, are we thinking similar direction, heavier? Have you guys started to put together some skeletons of what that's going to look like and that's going to sound like?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, definitely. I don't know if we're going for heavier. I mean, I would say maybe shortening up some songs a little bit. I mean, we've got, like I said, we've got a couple written. We've got, a 7-minute song, a 4.5-minute song.
4.5 minute. Wow.
Yeah,
Whoa.
I mean, for us, it's pretty. That's a radio friendly edit there. But we're also, we've got, another, 10-minute song on the table. So I think it'll be pretty much in the same vein as far as heaviness. May get a little thrashier in parts. You know, you know, you know.
It's funny because I feel it a little bit more heavier so far.
Thrashier is intriguing. So, like, are we talking like early COC thrash, or are we talking? What are we talking when we're hearing thrash?
More like the hammer, boom. It's gonna crush everything, and it's how I feel it for now. But we still have some song to write. We still are working on some other stuff. We don't want to lose also that I don't know how I can say that, but that type of boogie in our music. We have that a little bit want to make you shake your head and stuff. But I feel like we have some riff around, and I feel like it's might be a little bit more heavier.
I'm just taken aback by a 4.5 minute song. Just I mean, literally almost all of your songs are double digits in length. So that would be an interesting change, and actually very cool. I can't wait to hear what that's going to sound like. In your live shows, obviously you're opening the show, so you would do you play like just grab a couple and or do you shorten some versions of it because you probably get what 45 minutes or so when you're or 30 minutes 45 minutes when you're opening. How do you decide what to play considering that might be 3 songs total?
Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of the yeah. Generally, it's about 30 minutes. You know, we get to perform. So, and like you said, that's about 3 songs. So it's just kind of you know, mixing it up. We want to play, a couple tunes off the album, maybe, some couple tunes that we've been working on. But yeah, it's generally if it's a 30-minute set, that's 3 Ravine songs. So, um, yeah, just try and keep it fresh for us and keep it fresh for the audience as well. The long songs, they're long songs, but I think they're also we try and keep them interesting. It's not just 10 minutes of the same riff.
Exactly. Yeah, that's where I think I love your songs with the tempo changes and just the different directions that they go in. There's a difference between like a 11-minute drone and an 11-minute song that goes in like 4 different directions and has tempo changes and breakdowns and stuff like that. And that's I think what
Yeah,
is kind of candy for me, especially when you get that kind of almost song within a song, but you're just kind of moving around a lot and have kind of different um, movements, to talk from a classical music standpoint.
Going in your sense, I want to really mention our drummer Matt. He is so great for that. We can play at 4 minutes of the rhythm and he keep it interesting. He move the rhythm a little bit around and but keep going and train is going and he's great for that. He's amazing.
Love it. Yeah. You guys, from a musicianship standpoint, it's killer stuff. Now, vocally, I'm looking. I lost your singer's name.
Or
Paul. Paul. Um, wow, he's got quite the growl and quite the voice that fits perfectly for this. Did you just come in with that voice? Did it kind of have to do a different approach based on the music, or did you just guys plug in and then that voice came out, or did you know him prior to and maybe from some of his other bands?
yeah, we definitely knew Paul from his previous bands. Mammoth Salmon has been a band of his in the Pacific Northwest. It's been around for a while. Paul's originally from the East Coast, and then he really relocated to California somewhere, and then up to Oregon, and hopefully I'm getting all that right.
yes,
Yeah, but yeah, he'd been in a couple bands, but Mammoth Salmon is a band that from Portland, had been around for a while, and that's where I know Paul from. And then when that kind of dissolved, he formed a mostly instrumental band called From the Ages. But yeah, his that kind of he has a very distinct vocal style. It's not even really singing or melodic. It's more just kind of like this really just not shouting, but it's yeah, I don't know, just I don't know how to
Perfect
describe
for
and
it's perfect for what you guys do. Like it's perfect for the sound. And I need to check out Mammoth Salmon because that's a
it.
great
Yeah,
name too. By the way,
yeah,
that's a wonderful band
yeah.
name.
Just the
he's also a
cadence, the
great guitar
cadence
player.
of his vocal style is yeah, very very unique, but also very fitting. And he's I don't know if you're aware or if the uh, future audience that might see this is aware that Paul is not our original singer. We had he's not the original singer that was on the EP. So Paul really brought in just like this, like just uh, upped Ravine's approach. Was really complimented our uh, you know songwriting and style of music that we were really going for. So.
Yeah, there's a heaviness difference between the EP and what came out on Chaos. And you said he was so is he another guitar player too? That because you said mentioned instrumental band. I'm looking at his picture on Metal Archives right now where he's singing and playing guitar. So is there a potential 3-guitar attack on this, or does he leave the guitar behind for when Ravine plays?
Well, I think currently, I think he's really enjoying. Yes, he does play guitar, but I think he's enjoying just being a front man. But who knows? We might be Leonard Skinner on the
little Blue Oyster Cult action or something where you bring in all sorts of guitars. Love it, absolutely love it. So yeah, you guys are. I love what you guys are doing and all the bands that you guys have. Ravine and SkullDozer, Justin, just amazing stuff that I think will be on multiple people's end of your lists. You'll probably see 2 records by you guys. Robots have always been a band that my little crew has always loved and has always wanted more from. So Nico, just keep that stuff up. And so what are we thinking? Maybe middle of next year for some new stuff from Ravine, or are we thinking maybe a little bit later?
I think maybe next fall we'll get into the studio, I think is our plan. We're not trying to rush anything right now, just trying to write new stuff, refine new stuff, and see what sticks for the new album. And then we'll plan some studio time, and then as far as release, that's all up to Todd. We'd love to put it out, put the second album out on Ripple again, and so realistically probably a 2027 release.
Yeah, you'd have to tell him now, I think, to get it into anytime soon, given what the backlog he's got. It's probably a good problem and a bad problem to have, but but financial sense and everything. But you guys are I love what you guys are doing. Huge fan here of all your work, as you can tell. Anybody who has not heard Chaos and Catastrophes, here it is, a little Ripple sticker too, so you can go get that. If you guys don't know Robots of the Ancient World, I'm pretty sure Small Stone had like some kind of like 25% off coupon or something. Go buy those records. Like, those are awesome. I love those records. If you have not heard Justin's other band, SkullDozer, if you want something a little more metally, a little more thrashy, love that record too. So Nico and Justin, thank you so much. This has been amazing. You guys are just great guys to talk to. Very cool people, but you guys bring it, and we love that. And keep Portland's music scene, just amazing stuff that you guys are doing.
Thank you.
Well, we appreciate you having us, and I know it was
absolutely. It's a little bit past my bedtime since I'm an old man and I'm in Florida, but I'm powering through. I'm powering through this, and
you're doing it.
Totally worth it. It really was. Thank you guys. This has been awesome. Please stay in touch, and Nico, come back and talk to me with Robots. Maybe we can do something like that. That would be awesome. And Justin, stay in touch, and we'll do some stuff again. I have some other ideas of some shows that we're going to do. They're not interviews, but they're more music discussions. I'd love to maybe talk to you about that at some point too.
Sounds great.
Awesome.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys. Have a great night.
All right.
Bye-bye.